Love y'all, boys. Love you. Love you. I go to war with every single one of you every game, all right? Love you, 1-7. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Win.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have me douse, not what I'm about, have your fucking cloud. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, I slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. 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 It's showtime.
Welcome to Friday Night Lights. I'm your host, Tommy, to the highest degree, to the TOP, from the 313. And by my side is my main man, my Toucan Sam, the one they call the Apex Man, Mr. Mikey. And joining us also is Jerick from Jance Sports. What up, fellas? Happy Friday to all of y'all, and happy Friday to all of Bill's Mafia rocking with us tonight. And I am in my car. Unfortunately, I got called to work, but the show must go on. So let's do this.
How you doing, buddy? It's been a while since I've been on a Friday night, and I came back at a perfect time because we got a guest tonight, Jerick, who will be able to talk a little bit about all of the, training camps and stadium issues and all those fun stuff, and get his take as we're getting ready to kick off our first preseason game tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
So what's up, buddy? How you doing, Jerick? Been a minute.
I'm doing all right, man. I've just been, through the drama of the articles, claiming Josh Allen's number one, and then all of a sudden you got Chiefs fans, Eagles fans, Ravens fans. It seemed like the entire, NFL, the whole NFL fandom's against Josh, and they're against him potentially being an all-decade player, potentially being a Hall of Famer, potentially, passing him up, and now all of a sudden all these fans are just trying to kill him, and talk about the Bills having 0 Super Bowls. So I just want this thing to start. It's been just annoying, hectic. I had to literally mute Twitter. I almost had to delete the app from just seeing it all got in damn algorithm. And so this is why we need a ring, dog. We need a Super Bowl. I'm tired of these type of conversations, but it is what it is, man. They're just never going to stop until we get one. So whatever. This is why we
will end that conversation for good too. So people can shut the hell up if he gets one.
Yep, we just got it. Yeah, it's got to end because it's ridiculous. Ravens fans claiming that everything, the media is against Lamar. It's whatever. We gotta get into it. We gotta get into it because I can't. It's gonna cause me. It's gonna cause me just even more stress. So we can forget that.
All right. Well, before we hop in, Tommy, let's get into the chat.
Yeah, let's get some.
Scotty's here tonight. He says, "Go, go, go!" It's the start of the 20-0. Man, can you imagine with the schedule that we got? We walked through the season undefeated.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if that were to happen, it'd be the greatest team ever. It was because of the record, because of the schedule, right? And I mean, it would be the most unbelievable thing ever. But that would be wild. I just want to win a Super Bowl. I don't care what our record is. Let's just get the job done. But yeah, that would be the cherry on top, obviously.
Yep, our buddy Sean from Red, White, and Buffalo, chilling in the house, who has become a member. So we appreciate
man, dude, Sean. welcome, Sean. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you. Sandra's in the house. What's going on? Scotty said, "What's going on with your mic?" He's sitting in a car. That's what's going on with his mic. It's gonna be all night.
Yep.
What's going on? Okay. So we were caught up. He says my BP's already starting to rise. That's what Sandra said. I'm excited for it. I'm just ready for the kickoff tomorrow. Josh is gonna play, which is cool. It's probably the only time he plays this preseason. So let's watch it, have some fun, see what this offense actually looks like, and then actually let our defense hit somebody other than themselves for a little while.
I'm surprised though that they are starting that most of the starters week 1. Usually week 2 is the dress up for the starters. I still think the starters will play week 2 as well. That'll be more probably at least a quarter and a half for the starters. Week 2 usually, Mikey. That's how it works. I know last year we didn't play any starters really, but this year I think we need to. And the reason why, look, man, we got a brand new coach. So as far as head coach and Joe Brady, he's going to have to kind of get his feet wet, right? As being a head coach. Offensive coordinator is totally different story, right? You're up in the box, a lot less responsibility. So this is a nice tune-up. You know, these games are tune-up games for him. He's going to live and learn on some of these, coaching mistakes because he'll have them, and get them out of the way preseason. And then you also want to get, into the flow of being a head coach, and Josh Allen as well, getting in the flow with him being down there as head coach and all the ins and outs. So I think it's something that needed to be done, and I'm glad he's doing it. Hopefully everybody stays healthy. We do have a suspension, Mikey. I don't know if you saw that, but Mathis, 3-game suspension. I didn't see PED. It just said, what did it say? The drug, whatever. So I don't know what he got suspended for. Could have been something else. But that kind of hurts him. What do you think about him and his, him fighting for the roster spot now?
Before we get there, I wanted to ask Jerick his take on, I think I have an idea of why they're playing tomorrow, because you're right. They usually do week 2. Jerick, do you think they play in week 2, the starters?
They may do it simply because of the brand new scheme. At least defensively, we don't. I mean, for the most part, we have a pretty good idea in terms of who the starters are going to be and what they're going to be working with. The problem is that a lot of these players are learning different positions that we haven't learned under Sean McDermott, or we may have some familiarity because we did run a little bit of 3-4, some hybrid packages for 2 games. And pretty much all camp. I think last year I was talking about that, especially how they were utilizing Michael Hoyt. But again, the problem is that a lot of these players are, this is going to be their base defense. Not to mention too, they're learning 4 brand new packages that we've never ran before. So that's going to take a little bit of continuity for them to learn. Obviously, you're not going to utilize everything because you're mostly probably just going to be running base anyway. But we just need to we still need to have some really good familiarity and some good continuity with certain positions that these players are going to be playing, like Landon Jackson sliding inside to a inside alignment, like that needs work. Dwayne, I mean, now we don't have a nose tackle, and I know we're going to get into it, but I'm sorry, we don't. From what I've heard from Alex Brasky,
no, Jesus. Alex Brasky, don't mention that.
I know. He doesn't have the greatest reputation in the world, but I'll give Brasky some credit. I give Brasky some credit. Like a lot of Bills reporters, that dude will speak on. He'll speak his mind. I cannot say that about a lot of Bills reporters. And no respect to the Bills reporters, I know a lot of them, but that dude will speak his mind. He will tell you exactly how he feels.
He'll tell you how he feels because he's It's all self-motivated, Jerick. Let's be real. I mean, that's a totally different situation. That's a totally different topic, the Alex Brasky. I have no respect for that dude. But go ahead. You got respect.
Yeah.
Listen, everyone likes who they like. There's a little bit of something out there for everyone. He does speak his mind. I think he's a little clickbaity for my liking. He says shit that I truly believe he says just because he wants to get those clicks in there, which is fine. He went through a lot of personal stuff and had to go out on his own for a while, and then he got a job again. So, I mean, hey, each their own. He can do his thing.
We'll tell you too.
I don't think it's but it's not clickbait, guys. Like, I'm sorry, like.
Well, to you, it's not clickbait.
It's not.
Remember,
no, it's not.
This is opinion based, Tommy. You cannot say it's guaranteed.
It's not. Yeah, but the things he's saying has nothing to do with like it's quick little nuggets, and it's nothing behind him. Like. It's for me, it's more about his issue with the team. When what happened last year when he got his credentials.
Yeah, he'll tell you. Like, hey, what do you think about what do you think about the Bills? Son of their PR team. He'll straight up tell you exactly how he feels every single day.
Yeah.
He'll tell you. So
yeah, he went a haterade tour for a little while. I'll give him that, but I will tell you, I've listened to him a little bit more over the last probably 2 months. He's not quite on the haterade tour as he once was, but he'll also talk from both sides of his mouth, because one day he'll tell you how the Bills are the worst team in the world. Next time he'll tell you about how they're just crushing it and they're favorites. And so I don't follow him enough to truly know what his real feelings are, because he's not for me. But he is for some people, and that's awesome for them. There's so many different things out there for you to follow. You can get a little bit of whatever you like.
Yep.
I'm with you on that. So here's my take on the original one before we went down that Alex Brasky, rabbit hole. I think week 1 they're only playing because it's the opening of the stadium, and they want them to get a feel for what it's going to be like on game day. We have to build that, as someone said in the chat, we have to build that, home field advantage. They need to understand what it's truly going to be like. I don't know if Josh and some of them play week 2. I think it's going to all depend based off of how they produce in the scrimmage throughout the week when we do the practices with Cleveland next week. If they go in and they handle their business and we do what we're supposed to do, I don't think we play. But if Joe Brady isn't liking what they see, I think then we do play.
I think they play, Mikey. I do. I think this is a new coaching staff. I mean, a brand new coaching staff. They got to get things right with the starters. Listen, I don't really buy into the whole, if a player's going to go, he's going to get hurt, right? Whether it's preseason or regular season, look, you got to get, last year we didn't play starters at all. And I felt like, in a way, we came out the gate kind of slow. So, being that we have brand new receivers in the house with DJ Moore and Skylar Bell, brand new head coach, brand new DC, you gotta get those guys out there. You don't have to play them a long time, Mikey, but for me, get them out there first week, which they're going to do, probably a series. I don't think you're going to see them long, Mikey. You're going to probably see 1 series, maybe 2, and then I think the second game, you'll see about a quarter, maybe a quarter and a half from Josh and company. But I feel like it's a good thing to have him out there, considering we have a whole new coaching staff in place and new players and a new scheme, new offensive coordinator as well. With Carmichael, you want to kind of get that ready to roll in week 1 of the regular season. So for me, I think they start him in week 2 as well.
Okay. Yeah. That's fine. Jerick, your take from that perspective, do you think you're going to lean more towards Tommy? What are you thinking, or mine?
Yeah, I just think they're playing. I just think they're playing because, well, at least because they're trying to get familiarity with the scheme. There's a lot of brand new stuff.
Well, from an offense perspective, I get the defense playing
perspective too. I think from a defensive perspective too. I mean, let's be honest. We didn't last year with Sean McDermott. We didn't run any peso packages. If you don't know, and for people who know what peso package is, that's a 2-4-5. We didn't run we didn't run that. There's 4 brand new packages that Jim Leonard runs that Sean McDermott has never even touched. We don't. I mean, how many? Let's be honest. How many odd or bear fronts have we ran with Sean McDermott from a base perspective? 3-4, yes. Let's
be honest. Base perspective is nickel.
That is true. Teron Johnson was used as a nickel safety hybrid. That's no longer going to be the case anymore. We're not doing that anymore. We
ran a lot of 4-2-5. That was our base, really, with Johnson as that outside backer / slot corner. Because he played. I mean, basically, that's what he played, was outside backer.
Yep, it's a simulated pressure or pressure generated defense. It's a defense that's going to use a lot of creepers. It's a defense that's going to use a lot of breeze. Which, if for those who don't know what breeze is, that's basically with a will linebacker, which is going to be Bernard, works to the C gap as kind of the cutback reverse sort of player. Boundary edge runs a heel line, and then a 3-tech stunts in like an A gap off of the center's blocks. That's basically the simplified version of what that is. We run a lot of axe, which is double A mug, where we ran a little bit of that with Michael. When again, we only noticed we ran axe twice in 2 games, Carolina, Kansas City. When you slid in Michael Hoyt to playing more of an inside linebacker, and then Javon Solomon would be the other player. We never ran that ever again, except for the Jaguars game. But then it failed because Gregory Rousseau played that role, and Joey Bosa could never play contain. So he never ran that against the Broncos, even though that was probably one of the best things ever, because Gregory Rousseau literally was occupying 2 players. But that's just whatever. It is what it is. But it's just that. Like, when was the last time we ran a lot of techs or mech stunts? When was the last time we had rat defenders? Where we had linebackers that can kind of just drop underneath into we just all these exotic sort of simulated pressures and stuff like that. We don't run any of that stuff, except with Jim Leonard. So I think that's what we're going to do. Maybe not we're going to run all of it, but we're going to show different. I think we are going to show some different looks. Players are going to be in positions that they've never been before. But this is Bernard, for what I've heard, he's playing a spot he hasn't played since Baylor, which is basically more of a rat or a creeper. Mm-hmm. Or he's playing a little more as
what he got drafted off of.
Yeah, well, he got drafted off of, which is crazy. How we're trying to force him to play more as an inside linebacker.
That was McDermott's special, man. He'd get guys and then ask him to lose weight or play him out of position. I never understood why he would do that.
Yep, but don't get me started on that, man.
Jerick, don't worry, because McDermott's coming back with cutting edge defense. So watch out, NFL, for McDermott and his cutting edge defense. That he couldn't do here, apparently. The cutting edge defense.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't run any of that, anywhere close to what Jim Leonard is running until his last year for 2 games.
McDermott's saving it, Jerick. He's saving it for the next season. He said, "Forget the Buffalo Bills."
When he for Arizona,
he said, "Fuck the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to bring the most cutting edge defense to a new team and show everybody how it's done."
Good luck for you,
by the way, Roy, I am not homeless. I am working, and I am in my car doing this podcast because I love you guys.
They think you're in outer space, brother.
Oh, dude, I wish, bro. I would go if I could watch Buffalo Bills games and take my dog, Princess. Take me to outer space right now. Get me out of here, please. I'm tired of it.
Oh, Weston, no love, brother. That's just mean.
Weston is a bandwagon fan, everybody. I want you guys to know this. He loves the Rams now, apparently. That's his team. He loves Sean McVay. He kisses their ass every day, Mikey. He is a fucking bandwagon fan, boy. Weston.
Ooh, I'm interested in how good Jonathan Brooks will be tomorrow. Is Jonathan Brooks back and playing tomorrow? He's been hurt like every year he's been in the league.
Yeah, supposedly.
All right. Well, hopefully he can stay healthy. The dude was a stud coming out of college. It just couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah.
So, Jerick, real quick. So, I kind of, because we didn't really get to talk to you too much about some of the stuff that's been going on, obviously, in the offseason, the new stadium. So, I guess let's start there. Me and Mikey obviously already talked about this, but what's your thoughts on the new stadium and what's your thoughts on the criticism that it's gotten? And it went national. It went national media. National media went all around, right? So it's not just local. It like everybody's talking about the stadium and all the obstructions and the small screens. So what's your thoughts on the stadium, man?
I thought the stadium looked really nice from the images and videos I was getting. I know I had some family members, some friends that went to the scrimmage. They told me that it looked really, really nice. And they sat like really high up in the 300s. There are some viewpoints. There are some views where I think that, yeah, it definitely could be better. If you're sitting down, like if you're just sitting down, there are some, again, there are some railways there's some railways that are kind of in the way. But I mean, what stadium doesn't have a bad view? Every stadium has a bad view. I've been to Jerry's World. I've been to SoFi. Like even what else was considered Mercedes-Benz. I've been to Mercedes-Benz. They all got bad seats.
They all have some kind of obstructions, Jerick. They all have. Yeah, and listen, like, and my thought was, Jerick, it's 60,000 seats, right? If 10 of them, let's say, because it wasn't that many photos, right? It was what, 6 photos? So let's say even 10 people out of the 60,000 are complaining about their seat being obstructed. I mean, it is what it is when it comes to that. And also, people were complaining about the rain. Guys, it's still an open roof. They said it's going to not hit, 60% of people, snow and rain, but you're still going to get wet. Right, Jerick? I mean, I'm just saying, it is an open roof.
Yeah, you said in the 100s, you're going to get wet. I mean, you could just, I'll say that. You said anywhere in the 100s, you're going to get snowed on, you're going to get rain. If you sit more in the 200s, right near, I'm trying to describe like which way, but there is a different, there is a, like, actually in both ways where the canopy, where it's going to block it, you're not going to get hit, which again, ironically enough, if you go to StubHub or if you go to TickPick or any sort of ticketing app, those are the most expensive seats. They're the most expensive seats for a reason, despite the fact that they're higher up, because you're not getting hit. You're not getting hit. That's where a lot of the wind's not going to be coming from that direction. You're not going to get hit by the wind. You're also going to get warm seats. That's another thing that people don't talk about as well, is that almost every seat in the house is heated. Like those are the most expensive seats in the house, and so this is still an open stadium. I do wish it was retractable. I wish the roof was retractable, but I understand how much money that costs. Yeah, I understand how much money that costs, and listen, we're already getting taxed enough. It's insane how much that stadium costs, and how much this is kind of impacting a lot of citizens. It really is the most expensive stadium in the NFL, in terms of and especially for tickets. Like in terms of tickets, it's the most expensive tickets in the league. For anybody.
Yeah, it's up there. Yeah.
It's up there. So, listen, it is what it is. But it's just one of those situations where it's the off season. We have nothing to talk about. And so once, you have this grand opening of something that's huge, then obviously almost everything that is going to get criticized. They did it with Jerry's World. I remember when SoFi opened up, they criticized SoFi. I remember when Allegiant Stadium came out, they criticized Allegiant Stadium for being too expensive. They criticized Allegiant Stadium for having two different food courts, where one is mostly for clubhouse members and the other one's made for the original. And people were saying how crappy the food was. I remember when people were talking about Jerry World, and people were talking about how way higher up in the 300s, how it was just bad view after bad view, and that there was a blockway that could block people's vision. Like, we do this every single time a stadium opens up in the NFL. That stadium opens up. And it is what it is. It's the offseason. We have nothing to really talk about. Yeah. From what I've seen, it looks absolutely incredible. The detail, and just real quick, I don't take a lot of time. The detail of every section being labeled after a Buffalo street is raw. Like, that's really, really raw. Neighborhoods are named after streets, from pretty much almost everywhere, around the Buffalo area, suburban area, is really, really nice. You'll see Allentown, you'll see Allentown, Main Street, you'll see East Side, West Side, South, nice. South Buffalo. Like, that's nice. I really, really do appreciate that. I do appreciate the food courts. If you are someone who wants to sit club level, you have a see-through to the press conference. That's really, really cool. Like, there's a lot of really, really fine and really good detail, even hidden details, that people simply don't want to talk about. I have no reason why it's not being covered. But no, I think the stadium is really nice. I think what they'll do, if I had a guess, on the Thursday night game against the Lions, where they're usually, going on an hour early, talk about the game, they'll probably take some kind of tour around the stadium at that point to showcase it, because it is kind of a big deal. It's our first home opener, and it's on a primetime game. So I think that's where, at least a lot of other people that don't know about the stadium inside will get more of a detour or a tour of it. But we'll see what happens. Thoughts on the Nickel City jerseys and helmet? Oh, I don't like them. I'll be the first one to tell you that. I don't like them. Actually, it's funny as hell. I actually have I got a gray Bills jersey that I bought 2 years ago. I kind of use it as my lucky charm, because every time I've used that jersey, we don't lose a game. And all of a sudden, once I found out that the gray Nickel City jersey would come, I'm like, wait a minute, that's literally the same jersey that I got 2 years ago.
Oh, isn't that crazy, Jerick? I said that like 2 months ago. I'm like, that jersey I saw on DH8 for years. That was on there. So it's not like it's almost like Buffalo Bills or like they went on the site. It was like, hey, look at that cheap website. That jersey looked cool. Like they did not. It's the same jersey.
And that price dropped. That price dropped. That jersey used to be $140. It's like $85 now. It's like,
but for me, I don't hate it, Jerick. I just don't like the helmet. I think the helmet they really lost. Like they lost it for me there, and I think Mikey agrees with that as well. I don't get the whole Valvoline looking logo that they got with the V. It just doesn't go well. Like for me, like if what they should have done is they should have done like a gray bison with maybe a red outline. You know what I mean? It would have popped more since you're going gray and blue anyways. So I didn't really understand the no bison and you're just doing this weird charge logo that ends in a V.
It just no logo, but just
well, in that too, it doesn't matter. Like they could have done anything, but I don't understand that concept. I think they lost it there. I think they try to get too artsy with it, you know, kind of like what they did with the bison on the outside. What do you feel about the bison? You think they went a little bit too artsy kind of on that, or you like it?
I would have just kept the original logo. I don't like what.
No, I mean the bison outside the stadium. Do you think that's also?
Yeah, I mean, it looks. I don't have a problem with it. I don't really have that much of an issue with it. From what again, this is just videos that I've seen. Actually, it looks better than what I thought the original concept looks. Because I thought the concept like, okay, we're going too artsy fartsy, and then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, this is not bad. I think I can get used to this. I think it's really really fine and really good detail.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't have that much of an issue with it anymore.
I think I'm getting used to them. You know what I mean? Like you said, I think they look once I saw them light it up and for what they wore, not just what they were showing what they were gonna be like. They looked a little better than what I expected. So they're growing on me. I still think they went a little bit artsy on it, and kind of like what they're doing with the helmet where they're trying to make a total change to it in a way, like with the logo.
They love that charge. They love that charge logo. It's all over the stadium.
I don't get it, Mikey. It just doesn't go well, and I think it'll be a one and done, right? I believe it's a one and done for them for this year, or are they going to roll that out next year as well?
We have no idea.
Okay, hopefully it's a one and done. Hopefully they learn their lesson. All right, Mikey. Any other questions for Jerick? Just getting caught up.
That ran out faster than the food and the concession stands.
I heard the food is very pricey, but once again, this is what it's a stadium food in general, Mikey, is pricey. I went to the Bills game against the Browns in Detroit a couple years ago when the Bills got snowed out. We played in Detroit, and bro, it ain't cheap. It's certainly not cheap. For a beer is going to cost you like $12. I mean, for a cup, it's so it's expected. It's kind of like going to a movie theater and you think you're gonna get popcorn at $2. It's not gonna happen. You know what I mean? It's same with a video, same with a game. You know what I mean? You're going to spend money and they're gonna price hike it. I mean, it's just how it goes, man.
Yeah, and Jerick, from now on, you need to wear that gray jersey in the playoffs every week.
You're right. Yeah,
when you bring home that shit, brother. That's the rule. Yeah, no, we're caught up. We're caught up in the chat. People are talking about basically. Pez thinks he loves that Nickel City jersey. He's got himself one. That's awesome. The jersey isn't my problem. It's that damn helmet. It's not for me. None power outage, Tommy. Damn, man. Another
I
power
think you're
outage.
Frozen, Mikey. Are you frozen, Mikey? Jerick, is Mikey frozen? Or is it me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
I can hear you.
Yeah, he's frozen on screen, but I can hear him.
We can hear you. You're just frozen. You're like looking.
You can't see me bouncing my head around?
No, we can see you. You're just stuck. You're like, I'm telling you, man. I've had the worst Jerick since I've moved into the new home. I'm gonna tell you, it's been terrible podcast. So I went live for the first time on a Friday night, I'm an hour and 30 minutes in, and my fire alarms go off in my house. So I'm like, what is going on here, right? And then 5 minutes go by, they go off again. And I'm like, all right, guys, I guess I got to go because I don't know if I'm going to die on my first night doing a podcast in my home. And then I go live with Mikey on Monday, this past Monday, and I lose power. Right? So I got to go in my car to do some of the podcasts with Mikey. Then the power comes on. I go back in, and now I'm like, all right, finally, I get to have a podcast on a Friday night, relaxed in my home. My job calls me, need you to go to work. So like 3 podcasts in a row, man. It's been a total fucking disaster. But we're getting through them, man.
Listen, it's gonna be one of those things. By the way, am I moving yet?
You're good, brother.
Okay. Yeah, it's just I also need to get a new CPU. I think this one's about on its last leg, so I have one in the cart that I'm about to press, buy on, and I'll get a new CPU and see if that helps as well.
It might. So Jerick, let's talk to you about, so we've covered the stadium, covered the jerseys. Let's talk about camp. So who has shined for you and who has kind of, taken a step backwards?
I would probably say in terms of who shined for me, I would probably say, well, obviously I know a lot of people are going to say DJ Moore. He's been probably one of the best players of the camp, but I'm gonna go with Jalen Kilgore. I think Jalen Kilgore's had a really, really good camp. For safeties too. He's been, for what I've heard, he's been the most consistent in terms of the safety group. That kind of goes him and Chauncey. Jalen Kilgore is basically a Chauncey Gardner clone, and so he'll play everywhere. Like he has no true position. I think his best true value is by playing the free safety role, but he'll play in the box. He'll play at star. He'll play at nickel. He has multiple different positions where he can play, and that's a lot of that's a lot of versatility for this defense, because to be playing in a Jim Leonhard defense where you're going to be running a lot of simulated stuff, and you're going to be disguising a lot of your particular looks, and you're going to be rotating into a lot of different looks. You need to have that versatility in the secondary. That's why you picked up a Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. That's why Cole Bishop is going to be having a multiple role. This is why you picked up I forgot the nickel that we got for Atlanta, because he's not
Alfred?
Really, Alfred.
Alfred.
He's not a true nickel. He's a hybrid nickel. He can play multiple different spots on the boundary, at field side, at field corner, or of course at nickel, but more in a coverage sort of role, more of an off-ball coverage sort of role compared to an in-the-box linebacker role that Teron Johnson played. So, but I like Kilgore so far. I like exactly where he's played and how he's kind of shined in multiple different spots. That's consistent in my book. And so now that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is hurt, and again, we don't have a timetable for his recovery, that safety spot is up for grabs. And listen, I like Geno Stone. I liked what he did when he was with the Ravens. Yeah, it was
Bengals. Oh, right. Okay.
No, not the Bengals. He didn't play well with the Bengals at all.
He didn't. Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, he underperformed a little bit there. He played good against us in that game. He actually played pretty decent against us that game. You know who's having a good camp so far that I'm hearing? Alfred. Alfred's had a couple picks against Josh. He's looking pretty good from everything I've heard. Now, once again, it's camp, but it's good to hear from the new guys that are showing up. You know what I mean? Like, what about Keon Coleman?
No.
Nothing. Jeez, that was
Palmer's having a good camp.
God, come on, Jerick, give me something good here.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah,
no,
that's been the most consistent from what I got videos on Keon Coleman. That's not just X videos. He's got
triple X videos. Oh,
yeah, I know everyone's talking about the triple. Yeah, the X. Yeah, I wish it was triple X because the drops.
Whoa, Jerick, slow down.
You can't, man. The drops has been crazy. Like he's got a lot of drops. Now again, it's camp. It is what it is. I got to give him some credit. He's bigger. He's bigger and he's more physical. He's way more physical. He's doing a lot better against press coverage because even some of the bigger corners even Christian Benford's having a hard time trying to jam him on the line of scrimmage. So I do got to give Keon Coleman a little bit of that credit. but his release, man, like that's what's killing it. For what the release has not been improved. The footwork has been a little bit choppy. And then I think just the thing for him is that he's just not getting the consistent separation. Now, ironically enough, the corner that he is getting a lot of separation on is against Maxwell Hairston. Whenever they have Maxwell Hairston press, he can't do it. And that's just because that's not Max's game. Max is not a press.
He can play man. He's just not a press man.
Yeah, he's a trailer. Like you want him on trailer. You don't want him to press.
He's not strong enough to get up there and press.
Nope. He doesn't have the grip strength. He doesn't have the grip strength in order for you to kind of do that. So it is what it is there. But no, it's just like Keon Coleman. From what the depth chart has said, and this is preseason, he still is the third receiver. But from what I've been hearing, from what I've been seeing, Josh Palmer is the clear wide receiver 3. He's the clear better receiver. It's not even close. I don't have a problem with, because there's a reason why we paid him $30 million in the first place, is because he was a very good receiver 3/4 with the Chargers. His problem is he can't stay healthy, and so you're gonna have to rely and hope that Keon Coleman can take that next step to the next level. But we gotta give him a role. We have to.
This is an interesting battle too, and that's why I'll be honest with you, I used to hate preseason, Mikey and Jerick, but I've grown to love it because of, ever since really I started doing a podcast, Mikey, because there's a lot that goes into it with position battles and roster battle, people trying to make the team and seeing what you got in your rookies. Like there's a lot that goes into a preseason game. And I think we got a lot going into this season or preseason more than ever, or more than the last. I mean, since Sean McDermott was first hired, because there's so much turnover, Mikey. Brand new coaching staff, a lot more, a different system, different scheme, different vision. Like, and then you guys got competing. Like he was just talking about Palmer, who's supposedly having a very good camp. But once again, let's see it when it counts, right? Let's see it against a defense that's not our defense. And yeah, that'll be interesting. And let's see if Keon Coleman can do something to show that he's deserving of, one, being drafted in round 2, that he's deserving to be on this team, really. So we'll see what happens. He'll be on the roster, Mikey, but I know the depth chart came out, but that's unofficial. We all know how that rolls. I don't think Keon Coleman is 3 right now. I think that's Palmer. If we were to start the season right now, I think Palmer's 3. What do you think, Mikey?
Yeah, I'm probably with that. I think Keon has had some bad drops, which is really weird because his hands was his calling card. It was his inability to get separation before. So the fact that he's having these drops is kind of odd. We'll see what happens once we get out and we play against others. I don't read too much into camp practices that much, because you heard Joe Brady tell, Leonard. Joe Brady talked about it. Tells Leonard what the play is to make it as hard as possible on the offense.
Yeah. They're saying Josh is even a little bit not confused, but even Josh says it's just different seeing what he's used to.
Played for 8 years against that same soft zone defense that carves it up every freaking.
He's like, whoa, what is this? Disguise packages? What's going on?
It's only going to make us better. It's only going to make Josh better. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm excited about it. Another guy that I'm excited about that seems to be doing better is Hancock. They have him, and Jerick, I want to get your thoughts on Hancock, as they have him just playing nickel now. It sounds like he's actually taken to the position and starting to succeed.
Right. Finally,
he has a lot of. I feel like he has upside, Mikey. I mean, we saw it last year. Yeah, but then he got hurt, which set him back. But he has an opportunity, especially now that CJ's hurt, right? The CJ Gardner-Johnson injury is
that won't have anything to do with Hancock.
No, I'm saying for safeties in general. I'm just saying for but
Hancock's not a safety anymore. Yeah, I was talking about Hancock and general.
Oh, okay. Oh, got you. Okay.
Yeah.
So but either way. So, by the way, real quick, Mikey, what is the update on? Do you have any update on CJ? Because I know he got hurt again.
They're not. All Joe Brady is saying is lower leg injuries. We have nothing on anybody. It's a lower body injury.
Same
On
with
all of them.
Connor McGovern, right? Nothing on him, nothing on Cole.
Max, Cole, all of them. They're not going to play tomorrow. We know all of them aren't playing tomorrow. So our starting safeties won't be there. But no injuries on no updates on the actual injuries. But I want to get Jerick's take on Hancock.
Well, I'm just glad that he's playing nickelback instead of playing safety because I never thought that was his position anyway. Never thought, especially because you had him as a free safety. And then Jaguars game, when that Jaguars game, you literally left him on an island. Like never. It is what it is with that. But yeah, I especially for young players, like I know I just talked about this with Kilgore. Kilgore in college is a much better player than Jordan Hancock. Like Jordan Hancock to me, again, was another true Swiss knife sort of player, but again, very similar to a Lorenzo Styles. Like very similar to Lorenzo Styles, where I don't think he's good anywhere where he's played at, but he's good enough. He's got the athletic tools where he's not going to be a nuisance within your defense. If anything, he can make some plays, but he's not great in any sort of position. Kilgore was great in multiple different spots for 3 years that I watched him in South Carolina. I think that's the difference. And so Jordan Hancock, I think
is he Cam Lewis?
He's Cam Lewis. He's a more athletic version of he's a bigger, stronger, more athletic version of Cam Lewis, I think it's a good thing.
Which is a guy you need. You need that guy that can fill in where you need it. Yep. Be dynamite on special teams and fill in when you have your starters go down that can get you through. You need guys like that. They're glue guys.
Yep. And Jordan Hancock is 6'1", 199 pounds. He's a big defensive back. And is he the type of guy that I want to be trailing or do it trailing? Not really. Do I want him to be pressing? Not really. Do I want him in the box? Yep. I want him in the box because I know he can stop, because I know that's one of his stronger attributes, that he can stop the run, which is another thing that I think is a common denominator. We got really big defensive backs. Like the smallest DBs on the team is Maxwell Harrison and D. Elford. Yeah. Or more specifically, I mean, I think this is actually I'm not going to say this is a coincidence. I think this is meant for design. They're cover corners. The bigger ones, the bigger defensive backs are the ones that you want jamming in the line of scrimmage, or you want them in the box. Right. The ones that the smaller ones, ironically enough, the roles that they're going to be playing in. They're playing a little bit more off ball, a little bit more off coverage. This is not just going to be, because I know a lot of people are going to get this confused. This is not just going to be a pure man coverage scheme. It's not. They're going to be running. It's going to be a little bit more man that we run with McDermott, but trust me, we're going to run a lot of zone, and so we're going to be running a lot of split. We're going to be running a lot of split coverage. We're going to be running some cover 4 on one side, cover 2 on the other, or basically match coverage on one side. The other side could be a cover 2. We could be running some pure man on one side, and strictly on the other side could be cover 3. It's going to be a little bit more tricky, but it's going to be a lot of rotating. It's going to be a lot of disguising. It's going to be a lot of split. It's going to be a lot of split field coverage, some traditional true man coverage, a lot of traditional zone coverage. Either way, though, it's going to be the most exotic thing that we've ever ran with Jim Leonard in terms of our coverage concepts and what we do with the front seven. And so I'm rambling. I'm excited for Jordan Hancock just because with Jordan Hancock, he gets to play what I thought at Ohio State was his best natural true position. The plays that popped out on film when I was watching him was when he was always playing in the slot, when he was always playing, in a way, the Teron Johnson role. He's not going to be playing a DL for role. He's going to be playing a Teron Johnson role, which is, again, that's really, really nice because we can go and run some 3-3 cub, or we can run a little bit more 3-2. And here comes Jordan Hancock playing as an extra linebacker if he ever gets the opportunity.
Yeah, speaking of linebacker, real quick, Dorian Williams, I believe Mikey was listed next to Bernard on the unofficial depth chart that they brung out. But I still think Elarms Orr is going to be the weak. Yeah. What's your thoughts on Elarms Orr? You think he's taking that spot from Dorian? Jerick?
Did we lose him?
We might have.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm here. I
we'll
like
know more
Dorian Williams.
after the
Yeah. Caleb, but Dorian can't cover, man. Like
That's my problem with him.
he can't cover. And I think one of the biggest issues that I had with watching him is that he's not a pure instinctual linebacker. He's a guy that again, he's a read and react sort of player. Once he sees it, he can attack the gap better than anybody else because he's got that burst, that demon, I call it demon speed, that demon type of speed where he can go ahead and make plays. But the problem is that that's the problem though. It's that he doesn't do a lot of reading, he does a lot of reacting. And that's in a way why Sean McDermott utilized him more as a hybrid player, especially for mobile quarterbacks. He was mostly used as a spy. He was we limited his reps and we used him primarily as a spy. And it worked. That's it worked because once you gave him less complications, he went out there and made plays. And I think Jim Leonard, this is a defense that also it's the same thing for linebackers. You're not, this is a defense that's not made for you to overly think. Once you see it, just go after the play, make plays. But Elam Zor is, from what I've heard, we're gonna see it, is essentially the same player that Dorian Williams is in terms of from a run defending standpoint, just a better covered player. The only difference is he just doesn't know the playbook. He doesn't really have the experience, and he makes rookie mistakes. But in terms of the upside of what he brings to the table, he's better than Dorian Williams. So ultimately, I think they're going to give it to Dorian Williams just because he's the veteran. But don't make no mistake about it. Caleb's playing. And probably on passing downs, if Dorian isn't blitzing, he's off the field and Caleb's going to be playing that coverage responsibility role because that is something that he did really well at TCU, that he can drop in in terms of zone depth, he can drop way deeper and get to a spot a lot faster than Dorian ever could.
Yeah, you saw that in the red white, scrimmage that he ran step for step with Cook down the field, knocked it away. Like,
he did. He was step by step with him.
Yeah, so I'm excited about seeing it. I don't want it to become so predictable that when you see Dorian on the field, it's going to be run defense versus pass defense. It's why I want Elam Zor to start, because I do believe Dorian pigeonholes us. I want to see Dorian on goal line packages. That and then he's a good backup. That's what I need to see from him this year.
Yeah.
I'd much rather have Elam Zor get out there, have rookie mistakes, learn from him early in the season, so he's ready to go at the end of the season when it counts. Let the guys play and learn it.
And the next guy I want to talk about real quick that we haven't really talked about much with Jerick is Bradley Chubb. What's your expectations of Bradley Chubb this season? What's the ceiling for him this season?
I say the ceiling is probably going to be. I would say the absolute max ceiling is like 10 sacks. I'm not expecting like 10 sacks, but I would probably say his floor, if he can stay healthy, is and when I mean healthy, let's be honest, it's probably like play at least 15 games. Because it's the NFL, it's the regular season. Players get banged up, players get hurt all the time, and it's just the question is, if he does get banged up, does that drop his sack capability even like lower? Because Bosa, once he got hurt, it was done. Like Bosa was on fire, he was perfectly healthy, and then all of a sudden he hurt his hand, and then he had one sack for the entirety of the second half of the year, which is crazy. That is what I'm hoping is not going to be for Bradley Chubb, because we I hate to say it, like it's crazy that the best pass rusher from a pass rush win rate and from a pressure rate standpoint was Gregory Rousseau, and his percentage for pass rush win rate was averaging 12%, and his pressure rate was around, I think his pressure rate was still in the lower half of starting edge rushers in the league. So we don't need that. We need top 15 for everything. Top 15 pass rush win rate, top 15 for pressure rate. Total pressures wise, we need that to be in the top 15. The most total pressure we ever had was Von Miller, and that was during that 12-game sample size when he had over 50. We need to be somewhere around there. And so Bradley Chubb, I think from what I've seen from the Dolphins, he had 8.5 sacks coming off of a torn ACL, and he played every game. That's really good. Now, his pass rush win rate was below, I believe it was actually below 13%. I think it was around that. I think it was actually around that 11, 12% sort of range, which isn't bad, but you kind of expect a little bit better. One thing I will say for Bradley Chubb is that I know he's going to stop the run. He's a way better edge defender than Joey Bosa. Like, he's not even close. I think he's one of the best.
He's not getting sucked inside every play like Joey did.
He's not going to get sucked inside. He knows how to analyze. He knows how to diagnose, and he knows how to make plays. He knows how to set the edge. He's very, very technical for that side. Very strong because he is a power rusher, very similar to Bosa. He's a power rusher, but I think he has a little bit more at this stage, a little bit more pass rush tools within his game. But yeah, I would say the ceiling would be 10 sacks. And then I would say his floor is probably going to be around that 7.5, 8 sack if he can stay healthy.
Speaking of a guy you mentioned while you were talking, Von Miller, he came out and said today or yesterday he could easily get 8.5 sacks if he were to play on a team.
Washington.
This upcoming
he did last year.
He did
right. So what's your thoughts on Von? If thoughts on him coming back potentially? I mean, would that be a bad thing? I just use him as a rotational player. I just use him as a rotational player. I think Von understands. I think Von at this point, I think he just wants to go to a place where where he just feels happy. I don't think he really cares about the money anymore. He's like 37. I think he's going to be 37 years of age. He knows he still has some left in the tank. Like I think the 9 sacks that what he did with Washington, I think proved it. He's talked about how it took him 2 years for him to recover from the ACL injury that he suffered, from the knee injury that he suffered here. He said in Washington, the last 5 to 6 games, he felt like he was back to, not completely back, but he felt like he finally got his legs under him. And so Von, he didn't leave, he didn't leave because he wanted to leave. He left because he didn't provide the value that we paid him for. Yeah, pretty much. Right.
If you can get him on a cheap deal, especially, I don't think they're going to sign him now, but I think that could be a mid-season signing where where we may have some players hurt and he may need to step up to the table. And so, we need to keep him in mind. I would already sign him just because it's like what's the worst could happen? I'm just adding another I'm just adding in another pass rusher from an already desperate position.
So let me ask you this question: knowing that D end 5 is going to have to, or outside backer 5 is going to have to play special teams, because that's what Solomon is basically going to be on the team for is special teams. Would you prefer to have that extra guy like Vaughn versus that special teams guy?
Yeah, I would prefer it just because, and the only reason why I'm just thinking about the postseason. Okay. I'm just thinking about the postseason. We have been one of the worst teams in the NFL. We have been the worst team in the NFL in the postseason in terms of pressure generation. Listen, obviously special teams is very, very important. Javon Solomon has been very, very important for special teams value, but that's not screwed like that. Punt return and kick return duty hasn't really screwed us in the postseason. Sacks, getting pressure has. So that's why that's just what I'm thinking about there. I would rather have that.
Do you think the scheme's gonna truly help? The scheme change? Because McDermott didn't run a whole lot of games up front after Zoe and Kyle Williams retired. It became very static, rush 4, stay in your lanes, collapse pocket, no real games, to where it seems like Jim Leonard's bringing an actual scheme and games up front and doing different things.
I think it is. I think it is, but I think I'll say this. I think it's good for the long term. I think as long as this scheme stays, and again, if Jim Leonard leaves, then Jim Leonard leaves. I don't think they're going to look for a new defensive coordinator. I think they're going to give it to Jay Valai. Yep. I think this is a scheme and a philosophy that I think could stay. That, and from what I've heard, players already feel like they felt comfortable with it within the first 2 weeks compared to McDermott. Which could, again, they could just be saying that just because they don't want to talk crap about the new DC that's already there.
Like people are talking crap, like they're taking shots at McDermott still.
Yeah, like
some of the old guys, they're taking shots. So I'm excited about it because of that. Like I remember McDermott when he first was with the Bills, right? We ran a lot of games and we did a lot. We did really well in the playoffs and we got to the quarterback. But like after Kyle and Zoe retired, you didn't see it until Hoyt. That 6 quarters of Hoyt was probably the most chaotic that McDermott did during his tenure after those two retired. And then Hoyt got hurt and he stopped doing it again. He went back to the 4-man, same crappy rush 4 every once in a while, send a 5th guy. So I'm excited about the difference there. There is a couple questions in the chat I want to hit real quick. One was let me find it real quick. The first one was, do you think Chubb's gonna get captain this year?
Yes. From what I've heard, he's been the leader of that defense.
That's good.
Which I guess you can make an argument is a little concerning that you got like Terrell Bernard there, that he's been there for a while. I mean,
but Bernard hasn't practiced. The dude just got on the field recently. Like once camp started, he missed all of the offseason. You know, so doesn't surprise me to hear that.
I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if him and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson gets captaincy. I wouldn't be shocked. Like those
Chauncey's never been a captain either.
Yeah,
that'd be crazy.
Been vocal leaders.
I think it's gonna be Benford and it's gonna be Chubb.
I can see it.
Yeah. Kato wants to know who will be the 2 on the outside.
Corners,
2 wide receivers.
Oh, I would say, I would say more Shakir, but I don't think they're going to play Shakir out slot. They're going to move him out a little bit more wide, but he's playing slot.
Mm-hmm.
But
in a 3 wide receiver set, I think it's going to be Palmer. It's going to be Moore most of the time. Yeah, they're going to rotate, so you're going to see Keon, you're going to see other guys. In a 2 wide receiver set, I think you're going to see Shakir and Moore.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
That's my take on it. Could you see more Coleman outside? I don't like Coleman will get some run outside. I really think Palmer's going to take that job.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll find out once they start playing tomorrow. We'll see if Coleman's drops were just a thing. I mean, everyone talked about it. A lot of people you hear about drops in the preseason, and then once they get going in the games, it's fine. So we'll have to figure that part out. What about Bowery?
I heard he's had a rough.
I heard he's had a rough at tackle, but has done well on the inside.
At guard, right? Which is not, again, if you're someone that is that has the expectation that he's going to be a great tackle, but then he's that's not good. But in terms of guard, like and to be fair, like that's the easiest transition for tackles is by sliding into the guard, especially if you're a very athletic one. It's I'm not gonna say it's the easiest transition, but it's a much comfortable transition than what people give it credit for. Like, you think of, you look at guys like a Mekhi Becton. I've always said this. I've always said this. Deion Dawkins. I don't know if Deion Dawkins in about a couple years can play a tackle at a high level anymore, especially his age. However, I will feel comfortable you slide him at a guard. I'll guard. I think Deion Dawkins could be a first team All Pro if you slide him at a guard, because you cannot coach his footwork. You cannot coach his hand usage. That is not coachable. I mean, you can coach it, but there are players that simply get it. Yeah, they just simply get it, and players that simply don't. Deion Dawkins is one of those players that do. And when you're playing at guard, your hand usage, especially if you're playing a little bit more on a wide zone where reach and angle blocking is much important. If you're playing on an inside gap sort of structure where you need the anchor, where you need not necessarily the anchor, but when you need that hand usage, you need that latch, you need guys that knows how to utilize hand placement at a very high effective level, and despite their height and despite some of the size criticisms, they simply know how to win on the inside. Deion Dawkins can do both. So that's why I feel like that's why I honestly feel like the person I understand Jude's getting the attention. I'm looking at Chase Lunn again, because Chase Lunn last year had an incredible preseason. Barely lost. I don't think he barely lost any rep on the outside. and his kick step, his footwork, especially when on vertical sets, was insane. I'm looking at him. I know people looking at Jude. I get it, but honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if Jude ends up being starting guard in this league. He's a extremely.
Do you think Dion would move inside though, or do you think he'd rather be let go?
I think he'll do it. He'll do it because at 34 or 35 years of age, no one's signing. There'll be a team that may look for him at Dion Dawkins, but I think that if he slides in at guard, the money. I think in terms of potentially getting a high-paying job or a high-paying contract, it's at guard. It's not going to be a tackle anymore. It's going to be a guard.
Speaking of offensive line, let's get into the contract of Osiris, Sibo, Torrance. What's your thoughts on the contract that Sibo got?
I think it's a reasonable contract. It's really a 3-year deal. It's really a 3-year, $41 million deal. It's not really bad at all. I understand that people are overreacting to the contract because they see 4 years, $78 million, and then they take a look at some of the past signings. They take a look at the Rousseaus, the Shakirs, the Josh Palmers. They take the Josh Palmers. They take a look at the Bernards. They take a look at a lot of the players that Brandon Beane has signed, which are not really bad players, but the biggest criticism that Brandon Beane has had is that you are signing solid players to contracts that you could have just let them go, and we could have signed a premier sort of position. That's the criticism that Brandon Beane has gotten. So luckily for us, it's not going to affect the Buffalo Bills for the next 2 years, right? This year is on the rookie deal. Next year, the cap, I think, is like around $6 billion. And then after that, that's when it's going to hit. And even then, they're just going to try to restructure his contract. That's pretty much what they're going to try to do there. So Torrance has got a lot. Like the Bills have time to sign other premier positions. Even this year, I don't know if we're going to talk about it. They're going to try. They're trying to bring in another one that's going to have a huge cap hit if Brandon Beane can pull the goddamn move off.
Who's that?
Vita Vea.
Yeah, there's a report that came out today that
they reached out.
A lot of people have, and the Bucks are standing firm. They're not trading him.
Yeah, they're not trading him. Like you're going to have to offer the Bucks something that they can't refuse.
Yeah, 2 firsts.
Yep, 2 firsts.
And that's a risky. I like him, Mikey, but he is.
He is exactly what we're missing.
But he's also he's past the age of 30. He is, but
I would take the swing. He's exactly what that defense is missing.
2 firsts is steep, Mikey. I don't know.
I get it, but what have we done with the 2 firsts?
No,
recently?
I get it. I'm 100%
you're getting
with
a guy
you.
who is a true nose tackle, but has pass rush capabilities.
Sometimes you got to take the swing for stuff like that. I get it, but you also don't want to. You got to be careful too because you got to pay him right at the same time. And how much is it? I don't know. I think he's 32 or going 31. On 32. 31. Okay.
Same age as Josh. They came out the same year.
Right. So you got to kind of, weigh out what you're going to pay him too if you make that move because you're going to have to pay him. Right. So there's a little bit more to it than just trading.
$30 million a year.
Right. So we'll see with that. For me, I don't get caught up in the trades because they usually don't happen. Right. When it comes to the Buffalo Bills. So if it happens,
if I was going to make the move, that's the type. Just like Dexter Lawrence. I wanted us to give up the 2 for Dexter Lawrence. Those are the type of guys on the inside that change games. That's the Chris Jones, the guy that disruptor that you need in the playoffs. That's going to hit the quarterback as he's throwing. That's going to make him miss the throw.
I would take the risk. I'm sorry, dog. Listen, I'm sorry. Like we keep we're going to, as long as we have Josh Allen, as long as he stays healthy, we're going to continue to pick in the back end of the first round. The back end, like the whole point of the draft is to make teams that win have, make it harder for them to find that talent, for them to find that talent acquisition. That's the whole point of it. We're going to continue to pick in the late 20s in every single round of the draft until Josh Allen goes. So for me, we got to take shots on these players. I mean, listen, this is what was the criticism last year? Couldn't get Jalen Waddle. What was the criticism after that? Couldn't find a premier wide receiver 1 or edge rusher. He's had, Tommy, you talked about it. Besides Von Miller, we haven't taken the big swings. This
Yeah, that's
we have
that.
got to take
It's my biggest criticism, and I love Brandon Bean. I think Brandon Bean's done a great job, to be honest with
You're
you.
the creator of Bean Island.
Yeah, and I get it. I know it's not a popular opinion. You know that he's a very good to great GM, but he has flaws, and the flaws are he doesn't take enough swings. That's one, and two, I feel like his free agent signings have not gone as planned. So a lot of wasted money there. I'm not going to kill him about signing his own players either. I know a lot of people, you know, they don't believe in that. Like I listen down here in Detroit radio, the guy over here, he hates it. Like, you know, it's a, you know, because they're talking about signing their own guys. They just signed Gibbs and all that. And the guy on the radio, he's just, he's just a guy. He's like, you know, the Rams don't really do that, right? The Rams are the opposite, right? They're not really signing their own in a way. They're kind of just getting the best. They're trading away, and they're doing a different approach. But I don't mind what Bean does because for the most part, the guys he's paying, I feel they have deserved it. The James Cooks of the world, obviously the Josh Allens. But then there's some that obviously, you know, we look at and go, uh-oh, right? Like, Matt Milano might not have worked out, though he wasn't terrible. So far, what would you say the Ed Oliver signing right now extension has worked out? I would say it's on the fence.
When he's on the field.
When he's on the field, right?
That's
the problem, though, right? When he's on the field, right? And same with,
would you say,
you know, Terrell
Cook?
Bernard, you know what I mean? There's certain guys.
So let me ask you, would you say Spencer Brown's worked out?
Yes.
Would you say Deion Dawkins worked out?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Would you say James Cook's worked out?
As of now, yes, absolutely.
Benford.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I'll say this. I'll say this.
Yeah.
When he got paid, last year was his worst year.
The start
Well,
of the year,
the first half of the year. The second half of the year, he looked like he looked like the old Benford.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Because we started.
So where we're seeing a lot of the misses are on the defensive side of the ball.
Defensive side of the ball. Correct. Defensive side of the ball, including free agency, Mikey.
Who we had a defensive-minded head coach.
Right.
So, I will judge those signings on those guys more after this year with a new scheme.
I'm with that. But outside of that,
I would take the swing for Vito. Listen, this is the best nose tackle in the game. That's a crucial piece. Again, I mean, our main supposedly nose tackle because it will not be Dwayne Carter. I'm willing to bet that it would not be Dwayne Carter. Well, it will be now because Fedarian Mathis is going to be suspended for PEDs. But it's like that was a position that we keep highlighting for years. Why don't we take it? Why don't we take this position, a crucial position that has shown to be extremely valuable in the league? Jordan Davis's, the Vita Vea's,
it's odd. It's odd. Jerick, you would think when we got rid of McDermott, that would have maybe changed that philosophy or that way of thinking about the defensive tackle, but it clearly hasn't. Me and Mikey's talked about this. Even with the brand new defensive coordinator and Jim Leonard, who I would assume has say in what he wants, they clearly didn't feel like it's still a must-have position to fill.
I mean, that's why
I need to step in here real quick, guys. We have a super chat.
Oh, let's hit that train horn. Oh, there was two. There we go. Yeah.
Thank you, Scott. We appreciate it. He says, on both sides of the ball, do you guys think with all the signs with DJ Moore and on the defense side signings, do you really think they could get over the hump, especially on the defense? The defense is going to be the key. Offensively, I think we're going to be a top 3 offense this year. I really do. With also the big thing is bringing in Pete Carmichael. As great as a signing as DJ Moore is, I truly believe Pete Carmichael's ability to scheme, and that's where I thought Joe Brady was at his worst, was truly scheming. And the ability you're hearing about, moving James Cook into a receiver role like a Kamara or a Reggie or, Sproles or any of those, and actually taking that part of his game to the next level, I think is going to help us. On the defensive side, I think it's going to be a little shaky early. I think it's better as the season goes. Tommy?
I'm with you, Mikey, on that. So the offense, and we've said this before. So look, the offense really hasn't been bad. We talk about it like it's been putrid, right? Over the last 2 seasons, the offense is still rolling in that top 5 offense, in the NFL. However, the major problem over the last 2 years, what we were missing was the go-to receiver, that guy that when we needed a play to be had, who's that guy, right? That's kind of where that's where we kind of fell short on offense. Outside of that, though, the offense was never truly ever, to be honest with you guys, an issue after 2018. It started picking up since 2019. So the defense, like Mikey said, was always kind of the downfall here, especially really in the playoffs. So I feel like, if anything, the offense massively improved with the signing of DJ Moore. You got your one, you got your go-to, who, by the way, is going to help everyone else out. The Khalil Shakirs, the Dalton Kincaids, the Keon Colemans. That's what a true number one brings, not just his receiving ability, right? He brings that, that respect from the defense, and defense coordinators have to game plan for him. And you guys saw that even when we got an aging veteran and Amari Cooper, how that quickly changed how defenses played against us, against our offense, right? And it opened the field up for players like Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir. So our offense is, I feel, is gonna be way better this season, which is scary. And our defense, like Mikey said, I think it'll be you're going to see it improve week to week to week. I think it's just one of those things where players are going to, it's kind of like on the job training, right? And they're going to have to learn from their mistakes and get in the film room week to week, right? And see what they did wrong in that last game. And Jim Leonard's going to get on these guys, and I believe in them. And if our defense can execute better than it has in the playoffs, we should go to the Super Bowl. There is no reason why we shouldn't, because we've been that close and the defense has let us down. So if they can just do just a little better, we have a real opportunity, guys, to go to the Super Bowl with this team.
Okay.
Jerick?
Before Jerick goes,
yep.
That the chat was saying the train horn did not come across very well. So,
dude, now that's a train horn. Would you hit the puny train horn?
I don't know.
Damn.
I need to.
We got a sissy train horn.
I need to make sure I get the train horn correct.
Yeah, we got some sissy ass train horn, man. We apologize.
And thank you for the super chat, Scott. We do appreciate it. Jerick, you're up, brother.
Yeah, it's defensively. Yeah, listen. Defensively, the first 5 to 6 games, I'm not going to judge them. I'm going to judge them on the second half of the season. The offense is where obviously that's the expectation. This is an offense that should be coming out swinging, especially against the Texans. Now, listen, the Texans have the best defense in the NFL. The Texans don't have a lot of film on what this offense can present to the table. So, like the first 3 to 4 to, and again, it happens every year. The first 3 to 4 games, the Buffalo Bills score a gazillion points, and then we get to week 5, week 6, the offense struggles, but then the defense figures out a way how to start to pick up things. And then after that, then the offense gets back swinging, and then both sides get swinging, and then we get to the postseason, and that's when the defense falls to crap. So that's been the reputation of McDermott football teams over the years. I don't know how it's going to be in terms of, I don't know how it's really going to be. That's just like my expectation is if it takes them 5 to 6 games to get going, fine, because they have to find their identity. They have to figure out, is Lennon Jackson really good inside? Is Dwayne Carter and Mathis going to be the nose tackle? Because let's be honest, we have had mediocre players playing nose tackle for years, for a decade plus. Matter of fact, I'm trying to think of the Rex Ryan era. I don't even think we had.
Daquan might have been the best one, and he was only good for what? Maybe Star Latule was good for a year.
Yeah, Kyle Williams, Kyle Williams he's not even a true 1 tech. He was a 3 tech that kind of played a little bit more of an inside. That played a little bit more. Well, actually, Marcel Darius played a little more of an inside, more of an inside role.
Marcel is probably our best one, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and he didn't really play a one until 2015. Like 2015 with Rex is when he really tried to play a true one, which he hated it. So, like it's been a decade plus, and we still haven't had a nose tackle. So there's going to be things within this defense that we're going to figure out. We're going to figure out if Terrell Bernard playing a much more closer or much more wider sort of alignment is going to help him out. We're going to figure out if we're going to figure out is D. Alford the perfect replacement, and the position that and the type of area where he's playing at, is it an upgrade compared to Teron Johnson playing as a in the box linebacker? We're going to figure out if our inside linebackers are going to survive, are going to or potentially be an upgrade, or not necessarily going to be an upgrade, but are they not going to be a detriment compared to compared to some of the play that we had last year? Like, there's a lot of questions that we have within this defense, and so I think it's gonna take them some time to figure out the specific packages. I would even say the utilization of all the packages, because you're just not going to show your hand in week one, right? You're going to take it in a step-by-step game basis. But offensively, I expect this offense to perform, still be a top 5 offense overall, like we've had been since Josh Allen has been the quarterback, since 2020. It's just that, overall wise, I just think that I wouldn't be shocked at all if the Bills have a rough start and everyone's overreacting, because that's just the way things are. That's the way we do. We overreact when crap gets rough. I just wouldn't be shocked if we have a little bit more of a rough start in the first half, and then the second half we start to get the ball swinging. But this is what happens when you start everything over. It takes time for you to figure things out.
Well, and I'm glad you said that, but that's kind of why I feel like these preseason games are kind of important for these guys, all of them, the coaches, the players, to kind of adjust to the new scheme on both sides. Because really, like Mikey kind of touched on, the offense isn't going to change too much, but it's going to change a little bit with Carmichael, right? There is some tweaks to this.
The scheme has absolutely changed. When's the last time you saw Shakir run a post, or a seam shot out of the slot? Right.
So once again, Mikey, I think this is why I feel like this preseason does matter, why they should start, and probably why they are start. Because I was surprised week 1, but I get it. I kind of get it. They're not going to be in there long. I think week 2 they'll have more time, but this is because they don't want to get out of the gate in the regular season, like Jerick said, possibly slow, right? And not looking so hot, maybe losing some early games that maybe they shouldn't. So get these preseason games under your belt, learn from your mistakes, watch the film, because they're going to do plenty of that. But I'll say this, Jerick, I'm telling you, man, I've been saying it. Week 1 and week 2 are a huge test for both sides of the ball, right? You got week 1, huge test for the offense. We're on the road against Houston, a place that Buffalo has struggled, right? Josh Allen has struggled. The offense does not look so hot against and I get it, elite defense. But if our offense can come out and do their job, we win that game. Then week 2 against a very good offense, if our defense can do their job and we get with a win, get out of there with a win, man, the sky's the limit for this team, because I think they're only going to get better from there. I don't think they'll get worse. So I'm excited, man.
I am too. I want to hit on Adam's comment here where he said a second round pick is all it should take to get Vea at his age. He's 30. What are we talking about? He's the same age as Josh. What are we talking about?
I'll say this though, Mikey. I would assume, like you said earlier, even though Tampa said they're not interested in trading him, clearly teams have called, right? And they're either
6 teams have called.
Okay, so teams have called. I'm sure they're at least throwing their offer out, and I'm sure they're reasonable, right? But if the Tampa Bay Bucks are just shooting them down, then
let me ask you this question, and this is for both you and Jerick.
Yeah.
Is Vea better than Dexter Lawrence?
Yes.
Dexter Lawrence went for the number 10 overall pick. Guess what? If you're in the back, that's 2 first-round picks. We all wanted Dexter Lawrence.
Yep.
We were like, give it up. Trade this year's pick and next year's. Go get him. Why wouldn't we want Vita? And they had to pay Dexter too.
Let me ask you this, Mikey. If the preseason doesn't go as planned for Dwayne Carter, because we can't see, I don't think he's eligible to play.
Out, so
Mathis can't play preseason, correct? I
no,
believe
he played
can't.
preseason. He can't play.
Okay, so they'll at least get an idea of what they got in Mathis preseason. Though we saw him last year, I thought he had, I'll say this about Mathis. I thought he looked okay last year. He had his moments where I'm like, okay, he has something
scheme than he was.
Yeah. So very curious how they judge it, these guys after these preseason games, and maybe Jim Leonard, it talks to Bean about being more aggressive and trying to go out and get Vita Vea. So that's a possibility, right?
But
I could see that
he's only worth a second at his age and the contract.
No, he's worth the first round. The thing is, 2 first round is that's my only thing. I don't know.
Have to overpay. If we wanted to, they gave up the number 10 pick, which is worth 2 first round picks.
In our first round, technically a second round, Mikey, right? So I get it.
Yeah, so we would have to give up. So we would have to give up 2 firsts in order to get to compensate
to make it work.
That. Yeah.
So you know what? I probably would do it now that I think about it, because the picks are basically the end of the round picks, anyways. For a guy like that, especially if Mathis or Carter just does not look good in the preseason, go ahead and push it. Go all in. I mean, there's going to have to be a time where Bean says, fuck it. I hope. You know what I mean?
Is only going to get older.
Right. I'm with you. Yeah.
This is why last year, and again, I don't know if this is true, but there was a rumor that we were in talks with Kenny Clark. And we were in talks of trying to get something for Kenny Clark, and we never really pulled the trigger because we were not happy with the draft compensation that the Packers wanted. Then here comes the Cowboys. The Cowboys got Kenny Clark, and Kenny Clark for part of the Micah deal. Yeah, and Kenny Clark, Kenny Clark he's not Vita Vea, he's not Dexter Lawrence, he's not Jalen, he's not what's his name? He's not Jordan Davis. But Kenny Clark is in terms of nose tackles in the league, he's top 10. Kenny Clark's top 10, and and one thing he does extremely well, he knows how to eat space, he knows how to stop the run, he's got pass rush versatility. We should have been in that discussion last year. We weren't, because we thought that that Daquan Jones had a little bit of juice more left, and we thought that Daquan Jones could try to get back to the form, because that's another guy that we keep paying, by the way, because we're hoping that he can get back to what he was 3 years ago in the first 40 games where he would look dominant. But listen, for me, Tommy, this is how I get on Bean Island. I get on Bean Island if Vita Vea if we get something. It doesn't need. I would love for it to be Dexter Lawrence or Vita Vea, but we need to get a name. We got to get a name. We just like on the Rams.
We need an X factor. Go get me. I don't give a shit if it's Crosby. I don't give a shit if it's Vea. Go get me an X factor that in the playoffs, when it's crunch time, someone who will actually succeed.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm with you.
That's the frustration. That right there is the frustration. How could the Rams got Myles Garrett? I mean, now they traded Jared Verse. They had
we didn't have an asset. We didn't have
right. But the fact that they were able to go out and get Myles Garrett, knowing their history of getting Von Miller, of getting Odell Beckham Jr., of getting Trent McDuffie, of getting all these key assets, all these X factor, all pro players. They signed Devontae Adams. We're signing. Well, no, I'm gonna take that back. We're not signing good players. We're signing players that we draft, and we're developing them, and we're showing that's great. But in terms of actually going out and trading for good players, actually going out and signing good players, we're terrible. We have not been good in that particular category, and that is a part of the Super Bowl winning formula, not just from a drafting side. So Brandon Bean's got to figure this thing out, dog. Because like you guys said, Josh is 30. He's getting older. You don't know when his prime is over. We expect that he can play at a high level for 4 to 5 years, but we don't know if he's going to do that, because typically when quarterbacks get mobile dual threat quarterbacks, when they hit the magical age of 33, that's when a significant drop off comes into play. I'm not saying that's going to happen with Josh, because he can end up turning into what John Elway or Steve Young were when they got into the 30s. They still play at a high level there. But you got to be prepared. And at some point, we have got to go all in, and by saying, you know what, I don't give a damn if Vita Vea is 32 years of age. We have got to get a premier X factor player. Mikey said it. He completes the defense. Because guess what Walker does now? We get to push him out wide, and now he gets to play the natural position.
Yeah. I'm with you.
And here's my take on some of the free agents. I also don't think it was just a Bean issue. I think it was a scheme issue because we had, what's his name? The big guy that now plays for the Rams. Puna Ford. Just sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
Just sitting there. So you watch Tim Settle walk away and go to the Texans and then tear it up and get a big contract to go to the Commanders. We brought in and we paid a lot of money, for some of these guys, and they didn't pan out. I think some of it was bad contracts altogether, because I'll call a spade, but also some of it is scheme related. We couldn't even get guys on the field that we needed to get on field because the scheme just wasn't good. That's why I'm so excited about this new change and having Jim Leonhard in. You will see if the Groots are actually, was it scheme related or Groot just not that good? He's a good run defender, but he's just not a great pass rusher.
Or not a good closer and a passer. Yeah, because his pass is he gets there, he just doesn't close. You know what I mean?
Well, we always got there, and we'd always find a way to miss the guy.
Right.
All the time. We just could never bring him to the ground. So I'm excited to see if the scheme helps these guys take that next step that I've been preaching, that I think it was scheme related more than player related, but we're about to find out.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I'm with you, Weston. It's not about the 11 through 53. It's about the 1 through 10. We need that closer on the right. We need the Von Miller for the first 8 games. That guy who closed it out when we needed that play. We haven't had that.
Yeah, right now we don't have a closer, and that's my thing. I like Bradley Chubb. Bradley Chubb is not what he was 5 or 6 years ago. He's good. Don't get it twisted. He's good. He's not great, and that's the problem. We don't have any great players on the front 7. The only possible player that we think could be it is that Oliver when he stays healthy. But I mean,
and the problem with Ed not just being healthy is he is undersized. He needs a true one tech next to him. That's where Ed is really at his best. When Starr was good here for the 1 year, Ed really had a good season. When Daquan Jones played next to him and he had a good season. He needs that true nose tackle next to him, a guy that could take on a couple offensive linemen, where Ed can be on a one-on-one and win his matchup.
Actual game record.
Yeah,
put him in position to succeed, and that's one thing that our defensive scheme never did with our front. We never put him in a position to succeed, and that's what Jim Leonhard's calling card was coming out of college, was his ability to scheme things up to allow to. We talked about this a lot with the offense last year, right? You build an offense in a scheme to make your players better. You build it to their strengths. We never did that on defense. It was McDermott's defense, and everyone had to fit into it.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, dude, listen, Jerick, I'm with you. I hope one day Bean can get over his stubbornness.
I hope it's this year. I hope at the end of the preseason, things are going well. We're seeing our guys, but we're like, man, I feel like he's type player is the difference. Make the call.
Yeah, he's caught up in the out. I feel like he's
2
still
or 3
caught
years
up
down
in
the line.
Yeah, he's still caught up in the outlook of the team, the future of the team. It's dude, you have to eventually go, okay, man. Like you said, Josh is getting older. We are in the now. We're still in a Super Bowl window. If you wait around too long, it doesn't matter, because once Josh is gone, it's very hard to fill that position. That is not an easy position to fill and get a guy like that. So I wish that.
How long did we wait just after Jim?
Take a detour, man. You know what I mean? Take a detour, swing. I'd rather listen. If it doesn't work and he takes a swing, I won't even be
taking the shot.
Exactly. So it's the ones where you don't swing is what it's gonna sometimes come back and bite you, man. So that's the one criticism I have of him. He needs to get a little bit more aggressive.
I will say this. He's just been promoted, so he's not on the hot seat. But he goes 3 more years without a Super Bowl, he may be the next one gone.
No, he probably will.
If Joe Brady goes, chances are Bean's going with him.
Yeah. I think this is it.
Figure it
I
out.
think I'm with you. If the Brady experiment doesn't work out, Mikey, I think Bean is gone. That's two
So
coaches now. You
You
can't.
might as well go for it at this point.
Yeah, go for it. Absolutely. I'm with you. But hey, we'll see what happens in preseason. Maybe Jim Leonard has a plan in motion for that. And maybe he has higher hopes than us when it comes to Carter and Mathis. I don't know. Time will tell.
Just go for it. Sell it out. Yeah. F
Yeah.
them picks.
That's them picks. Yeah.
The
I'm with
Rams
you.
got a Super Bowl and it took them 2 years to get right back.
Right.
F them picks. And say what you want about the Chiefs. The Chiefs did a great job of and they let people walk out the door all the time and they just find a way to rebuild it quickly.
Now, I'll say
when you have
yeah, sorry,
Allen,
Mikey.
you can
Yep.
do that.
Yeah, they let go of their top two corners.
Yeah.
Let them both go to the
And then
Rams.
this is the second time they've done that.
So there is something to watch for too, outside of trades, that I feel like right now every team is in a standstill until preseason ends. But usually at the end of preseason, when we start getting our cuts, right? We start narrow. There's always some surprise cuts or somebody's going to get they're trying to force somebody out or whatever. So I wouldn't be shocked if there's some top players out there that are available that maybe are a surprise cut due to a cap or just not working out or somebody wants to get traded last minute. So that's something to watch out for as well. So I wouldn't say we're necessarily done with getting players on this team. What type of player? That's a different story.
There's still some really good linebackers out there.
Yeah.
There's still some good players out
Yeah,
on free agency.
absolutely. Yeah.
They're waiting to see if there's any injuries in preseason before they sign.
That's all they're waiting on. Yeah, that's all it is about right now.
We'll see. We'll see what it has. All right, so let's switch gears to what the actual topic of tonight was, and that's the players to watch going into tomorrow. So, Jerick, give me your top players on both sides of the ball that you're excited to see tomorrow.
I'm excited to see DJ Moore. I'm excited to see how again, he's been making play after play after play in camp. So I'm excited to see that continuity between him and Josh. I'm also excited to see if we're going to flip on the defensive side of the ball. Like I said, I'm excited to see Jalen Kilgore. I've been really
so happy about that draft pick.
Oh yeah.
Me and you've been very lockstep the last couple of years on who we want the Bills to draft. Because missing out on Watts, I feel like Kilgore could be our reprieve.
Yep. Kilgore, thankfully, was one of the players that I wanted. For the most part, if it wasn't going to be, ironically enough, Jacob Rodriguez or I forgot the defensive tackle from Ohio State, which is what it is there. But I'm excited to see what Jalen Kilgore can do. I'm just curious of where they're going to play him. If they're going to play him in multiple different spots, if they're just going to play him in one true position, I'm curious in terms of where they're going to line him at. And, for what I've heard, his coverage ability has improved. I think the one thing that South Carolina didn't make him do because their starting nickel got hurt was they didn't make him play that ball hawking position at free safety. He basically was a slot corner.
Yeah.
He was a slot corner the entire year at South Carolina. So, and he played really well at South Carolina at that spot. So I'm just curious to see if they're going to let him play the free safety role or if they're just going to let him, just kind of roam around, roam around a little bit and just, kind of find a home there. TJ Parker is another player I'm excited for.
I'm excited to see TJ.
Again, that's another highly invested pick. I'm excited to see it, especially because I don't think they're going to play a lot of Bradley Chubb and Russo anyway. So Parker's going to get a lot of reps. And so hopefully we can see what he can do there. Because, people forget TJ Parker was a projected top 5 pick.
Yeah.
He was a projected top 5 pick for 2 years. And then that weird year that happened with Clemson.
Well, yeah, they changed their scheme and did all kinds of weird shit. And it just
everybody
didn't fit him.
Yeah, it wasn't just him. There's a lot of NFL draft. That Clemson team that's one of the weirdest 7-1 teams I've ever seen because the amount of NFL talent that team has is insane. And I feel like Peter Woods underperformed. There's another draft pick in Will Helt who's going to be coming out next year who was the best player, but I thought he was underperforming. It was weird. But TJ Parker's got first round capability.
Yeah.
It's just about, can he put everything together, right? And so can he eventually develop into that a superstar pass rusher? Probably not. But can he develop to an edge 2? And so, or maybe I would say this year, can he develop into an edge 3? And an edge 3 is more like 4 to 5 sacks, maybe 4 to 5 sacks. Can
he replace Epinesa and maybe take it a step?
Yes. Yep. And strangely enough, that's what Kansas City has always had that every single time. They've always figured out a way to get an edge 2 that can play better, that can play closer to edge 2 more than just staying at edge 3. That's the big reason why Kansas City's won a lot of those Super Bowls. We need that from TJ Parker, so I'm excited to see what he can do on the field.
I need him to make those splash plays. He doesn't have to be all the time, just randomly in big moments. When you're out there, make an impact. That's what I would like to see from TJ Parker this year. I don't need him to be some superstar. Like, let's be honest, he's edge 4 right now. With Hoyt back, he's going to be edge 4. I just need him to make a few splash plays in key moments when he's out there. Don't let it be bigger than what you are. Show that top 5 that you had. And the funny thing is, we have a guy like that was also considered that way in Walker, and then he got hurt, and we got him in the 4th round. Like, Bean seems to be taking those gambles on those, those high upside guys. So we were bound to hit one of them at some point.
Yeah.
For me, I'm excited to see Landon Jackson, because he went back to his college days, put on the weight, and is playing that 4-eye position. I'm excited to see what SVP looks like, because we missed all of preseason last year, and he's fighting Cushenberry for that backup center job. There's no guarantee that from what I've heard, Cushenberry hasn't looked good at all. So I'm excited to see what SVP can do. And then also really excited to see that left guard battle and how that plays out.
For me, Mikey, it's all about the rookies. I'm excited for all of them, including the punter. Let's see what you got out there. Let's see if you can.
I was listening to Joe Marino. Joe Marino was talking about him. He said that guy just looks great.
Good. I want to see him. I want to see it live on TV, because for me, it's all about the eyeball test, right? So the rookies, I'm excited to see all of them. And then as far as the players that we've already had on this team from last year, like you said, Landon Jackson, that's an interesting one to watch for. With the weight gain and him changing to 4-eye now, it's going to be an interesting look to see if he can go. That's where he's comfortable with. Let's see if he can actually now, look like a guy that we were excited about.
When we first knows what he's doing. He looked like
that doesn't look lost.
A fawn out there didn't know what he was doing. Just waddling around places.
So that's that. I'm also interested. I want to see Keon Coleman. Obviously, I want to see. He's had an up and down camp. I've heard some good. I've heard some bad. Palmer, I'm still not a fan of. However, prove me wrong. If you go out there and you have a good preseason, and you're showing that you can create space, because that was the thing about Palmer, was one of the reasons why we signed him was he was good at creating space and good at route running, right? So he could create that space, and we just never got to see enough of Palmer because of the injuries. And when we did, when he came back, it just wasn't good enough. So very curious with him. But everybody else, Mikey, I already know what Josh can do. You know what I mean? I also am interested with the head coach about, his first game as a head coach. That's also interesting to see what mistakes he makes, what good things he does, right? The challenging, will he be the
one that actually does the challenges, or will he give it to somebody else?
True. Will he call unnecessary timeouts? Like, the things.
See, that's where I wonder if he leans on John Fox a little bit.
True.
To be his game day manager.
Yeah, and that's a great guy to lean on, by the way.
Yeah, because he's the offensive, play caller. I wonder if he uses John Fox that way.
And he may. I mean, John Fox is going to be, I think, helpful for everybody. And I know, people find it like, not funny, but people talk a little smack. Oh, the guy didn't win a Super Bowl. Listen, the guy went to 2 Super Bowls. He did more than our old head coach ever did. Okay, let's be real. He took 2 bad teams, turned them around instantly, and got there. He at least knows the feeling, knows what it's like to reach to a Super Bowl. And he's had a top 10 defense for 10 of 11 seasons. So the dude knows football, has been there, done that. Like you said, Mikey, he's a great addition for the coaching staff, a very young coaching staff, and Carmichael too. Let's not skip past him. He's a guy that's going to help out Joe Brady as well, because Joe Brady's taking on double duty. He's doing the play calling, so he does have a little bit more on his plate, but he asked for it, and he's going to get it. So let's see what he can do. Play calling and head coaching, year one could be challenging. So let's see how he does in preseason.
Let me ask you this, and this is a question for both you and Jerick.
Yeah.
Tommy, we'll go with you, then we'll go to Jerick.
Sure.
After watching Levis last night, would you trade a late round pick for Levis to be our backup?
I am not crazy about our backups, by the way.
I know. That's why I'm asking. Would you trade a late round pick for him, knowing that it's Ward and Trubisky's going to be their 1-2?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Levis is there.
Absolutely. I have no faith in Kyle Allen, or I don't even remember the other guy's name, but
because Levis is on a rookie deal still.
Yeah, and Levis is not terrible. He's not an awful quarterback. He's shown signs of being a potential starter. But yeah, but at the end of the day, I'm still not worried. Josh has been very reliable, knock on wood. But yeah, you kind of want to. They need to eventually, Mikey, draft a quarterback, and have him at least be there. A guy that could fit into the system, is there long term on a rookie deal, instead of keep going out and getting these 1-year guys, because that's really what we've been doing. 1 year this guy, 1 year that guy, 1 year this guy.
Last couple of years have been 2. So we had 2 for Trubisky. We just signed
Kyle
2, Allen for 2.
And then we did the one guy
Barkley
year from Minnesota.
Yeah. And then we signed Barkley for 2. So
right.
It's a lot of 1 and 2 year things.
Yeah. But for me, you get a rookie, you got him on a 4-year rookie deal. You sit him there, you know what I mean? Like, you get a guy that's similar to the way that could fit into the offense. That, in case, like for me, like Milton would have been a perfect guy that would have that they could have worked with, and kind of, I think he would have fit in our system if he needed to come in, plug and play. But that's out the door. That's no longer available. But yeah, to answer your question, I would not mind them getting a better backup quarterback. Absolutely. Jared?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, no, I was on the Drew Aller train. We need to draft a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what, though? Let's be honest. Let's be honest. We all know why these quarterbacks, Shane Michelle and Kyle Allen, is on this roster because of Josh Allen.
Yep.
We understand that. We understand that, again, very similar to Mitch Trubisky. Now, Mitch Trubisky, to be fair, is a good backup quarterback. That is a quarterback I don't mind having as your backup, just in case if Josh Allen just goes down. He is a starter. He was a starter in this league.
Yep.
He still does have talent. He's a dual threat quarterback, I think, most importantly.
Yeah.
But we can't. We hope that Josh Allen can stay healthy for 17 games. He has done it, but we also know that he's played through injuries. We also know that he's 30 years of age, and so having having a project quarterback like a Anthony Richardson or a Joe Milton or a Will Levis, like these big quarterbacks that's got mobility, that's got arm strength, that can push the football down the field, that's got raw tools that has to work with, but they're project quarterbacks, they're backup quarterbacks, and learning behind Josh Allen for about a year or two. First of all, you saw the Patriots had Joe Milton for about a year. The next year he had an amazing preseason. He played well against us, and then they traded him for fifth round. They traded him for fifth round value. Like, that's what we can use these quarterbacks for. If the Steelers somehow, some way don't want to have Drew Aller and they don't want to think about Drew Aller as their future, let's just say they're in a position to get Arch
Will Howard, either one of them.
Or Will Howard, let's just say, but both quarterbacks played extremely well in the preseason. That's trade value. That's picks. That's trade compensation that you can potentially get. So I don't see what's wrong for us potentially preparing for the future. We hope that Josh Allen can be the quarterback for the next decade. But the fact of the matter is that Josh Allen has taken a lot of hits. We don't know how his game is going to change once he ends up turning 33, 34, 35. because he can end up being Russell Wilson. Remember, Russell Wilson at post Legion of Boom was a top 5 quarterback. And then he left Seattle, got to Denver for the contract, and then his arm was gone. But,
I felt like when he tore up his finger, remember when he after that, I felt like everything with him was off after that.
It was off, but that's what it takes. Like Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger was great until he hurt his arm.
Yeah.
Once he hurt his arm, that was the end of his career. Drew Brees, same situation. Drew Brees was lighting it up at 39. The problem was shoulder injury. He had suffered a massive shoulder injury, and he just never was the same quarterback again. Tom Brady, the reason why Peyton Manning with the neck injury. Yep. The neck injury. It just caught up with him. Josh Allen has suffered major injuries that he plays through them.
Plays through him every season, really. Yeah.
He reminds me more of Elway, which gives me hope he'll be into his 36, 37 season before he actually says, okay, I'm going to walk away.
And you know what, though? I'm glad it's kind of funny you bring that up, but it took a new head coach for Denver Broncos to go to the Super Bowl. That had a different outlook and vision because they were a good team.
An offensive-minded head coach.
Right. It wasn't like they were a bad team, but something wasn't right. They needed something else. They needed a new vision, a new scheme, a new outlook. And what did they do? They go, I'll get an older quarterback, right? He's aging and he wins 2 Super Bowls back to back because they built a good team around him. They understood they had a different coach with a different mindset. It worked out for Elway, but it could have went the opposite way. They could have stuck with the coach and it just kept going on and on. And that's why the change here was necessary too. I also feel like that's why me and Mikey talks about the change. This could be the thing. Yep. Yeah.
All right. Tommy, got anything else on the docket for tonight?
No, man, that's pretty much it, guys. I'm sorry that I was in my car tonight, but the show must go on. I got called into work. I will be live tomorrow on 4 hours sleep for the watch party. I believe I scheduled it for 12:30 or 12:45, but just hit the notification bell. You guys will know when we go live, but for sure I'll be live by 1. And Mikey, I think Mikey may join me for the first half of that game or pop in at some point.
Yep.
But join me tomorrow, live watch party. And Jerick, you're more than welcome. I don't know what you're doing, but you can always hop on if you like and give us your thoughts on how the first preseason game is going. I'll send you the link if you want. And that's it. And then Monday, me and Mikey will be back for Monday Night Uncensored at 10 p.m.
Yep. Talk about what we saw this weekend, what we liked, what we didn't like.
Yeah, recap
and kind of go through. Get back into our groove. I'm back to 2 nights a week, back to Mondays and Fridays going forward.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Jerick, where can they find you, brother?
Follow me at Jance Sports. About that time. It's about that time. So we're gonna get back into the swings of it, man. But you can find me at Jance Sports, or again, I'm on X all the time in Bill Spaces. Shout out to the Mafia House on Jance 716. Especially if you want to have great conversations and arguments with Ravens fans about Josh and Lamar debates. You can find us there. Yeah, you can definitely find me there on Jance 716 on X or Jance Sports on YouTube.
All right, don't be a stranger, buddy. You're welcome anytime.
Oh yeah.
All right, Bills Mafia, we appreciate you rocking with us tonight. We'll see you tomorrow for the watch party of the Bills Panthers Week 1 preseason. I'm excited. It's preseason, but I'm ready. I'm amped. Buffalo Bills football is back, baby, tomorrow. So Bills Mafia, we love you. And as always, go Bills. We're out of here. Peace.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
That's right. That's right.
Just let your soul go. Just let it shine through. Just let your soul, baby, feel it.